Hello, guys. How you guys doing out there? I'd like to welcome you guys to another podcast. This is a new podcast. I'm very excited about it. I'm introducing it through this character that you guys are going to see on screen. I'm actually doing two videos, one with me actually behind the puppet, uh, behind the character, and me actually inside the puppet, behind the scenes, behind the puppet, the voice that's behind the puppet, and me uh, flowing through the puppet. But anyway, the name of this new podcast is called Faith Fox Podcast. Faith Fox Podcast. And I have a pre celebration. You know, every time I get on these, um, every time I have an opportunity to speak on what God is doing in my life. And I just want to thank Him for allowing us to have faith. To have faith. And faith is literally a superpower that God has given us to bring things into existence that we're believing Him for. I love faith. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, is the evidence of things not seen. And we can literally use our faith to bring things to pass. And I'm grateful to God that He's given me the opportunity to do this. And He just really, honestly, He allowed me to do this just by me looking at an article. And I brag about Jesus all the time. He always giving me witty inventions, ideas, and concepts, and I'm just blown away. And he's always giving me these ideas. So I read this article, and this article made me start this Faith Fox podcast, and it's going to be an animation. I got to call those things to be not as though they were. It's going to be an animated podcast. It's going to be an animated film. It's going to be an animated cartoon, and it's going to be an animated video game. And also, we're going to always write a book. So I just want to thank God for it. And I want to, again, my name is Tim Edwards. I'm the voice behind the Faith Fox podcast. I'm the guy that's behind the scenes. And of course, I'm going to believe that my future wife is going to be on these podcasts with me, because it's definitely, now that I got another additional IP that God just blessed me with, I'm definitely going to need some help. So anyway, I believe God that He's actually bringing her in to be a part of this podcast and all the things that He's doing in my life moving forward. Because you can't do all of these big things without Jesus. And you definitely can't do it without any help. He is our help, but He sends man to help us get to the next level, which brings me to the title of this podcast. Okay, this podcast is a prophetic podcast. It's a faith moving podcast. This hasn't happened yet. I decided to do this podcast to show you guys the power of faith, or activating your faith. Let me show you how God gets behind, Jesus get behind this faith. It's amazing what He does. And the name of this podcast, again, it hasn't happened yet. It's about to, though, and I believe it's going to happen. I like to speak faith forward and say it's going to happen now. It's going to happen by tomorrow, my time tomorrow. Tomorrow can be 1,000 years from now. Tomorrow can be like a week from now. But no, I mean tomorrow, which is right now. Today is Tuesday. Wednesday would be tomorrow, as far as in my time. But anyway, the name of this podcast is called Faith Fox on Netflix. Again, let me say that again. This we're calling these things as be not as though they were. We're speaking it into existence. Faith Fox, the new podcast I just started. Faith Fox on Netflix. Okay. Netflix currently have 200 plus million subscribers. Again, Netflix has 220 million subscribers. You know that God has a platform or a plan for us to go into this marketplace. And I believe that they have to have Christian content on their platform. They currently do. I think I saw it today. They actually have a faith genre that's on there. And I think they have right at about 19 featured shows or films or cartoons. And I believe I'm going to be the first African American to have his own podcast, which is the Faith Fox podcast on Netflix. And I just believe that God is going to send me a team that's going to be able to help me animate and do all of these things. Right now, the animation is a little basic, but that's why we're using our faith to see God bring it to pass in our lives. And I want you guys to pray for me out there, because the next post I'm going to do will be the actual contract when I have the deal in my hand, when it's manifested, and I'll be able to show you guys that I just got a deal with Netflix. You know, if people like all of these actors and these comedians and all of these people are getting their own show on Netflix, you know, God, if the Bible says this, the Bible said, if you being evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more does my Father, our Father in heaven, know how to give good gifts to his children? So I just know for a fact, God is not going to let evildoers that don't serve him continue to get deals and his people be completely excluded out of it. I just don't believe that. I just got through talking to my grandmother just a few minutes ago, and we was talking about that, and I was like, Grandma, I really have a problem with evildoers prospering. I really do. I really do. I just don't believe that evil people can prosper. I don't believe that. I don't believe they have what it takes. You know, and what we're going to be coming out of today, we're going to be coming out of John 21 about Jesus teaching Peter how to fish. And you will see in this, if it wasn't for Jesus showing up, they would have toiled all night, which they did toil all night and caught nothing. And that's what I'm talking about. Without Jesus, we can do nothing. If Jesus didn't show up, Peter and his disciples, or Peter and his other fishermen, not his disciples, but Peter and his other fishermen wouldn't have been able to catch any fish because they was toiling all night. That's what I believe that the world is doing. The world believes in working, toiling all night, but catching nothing, okay? Because they don't have Jesus Christ in their life, so they toil all night. They're laboring in vain and catch nothing. And that's what I was telling my grandmother. Grandma, I'm just tired of these evildoers getting money, resources, contracts, equipment, all of these things. And I know we don't supposed to fret because of evildoers, but I'm tired of them getting it. It seems like they're not going through Jesus. Now, I'm doing this. I'm doing this podcast. Let me go ahead and prophesy before I go into a little bit more before I go into this podcast. Okay, God gave me Faith Fox podcast. He gave me this podcast. Okay, notice that the first name is Faith. Okay, because I'm the type of person that I activate my faith. And the Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. Hebrews 11, I think it was 11:6. This is what I'm talking about. We can't do anything without Jesus Christ. So when I see the world operating in this false movement, all of these works without, all of these false and fake works, vain works that don't go anywhere, I just know that they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to be able to accumulate any success. It looks like they're being successful, but they're really not able to walk in. And this is what I want to get at. Watch my show get picked up. Watch my little bitty Tim Edwards, my little bitty thing, my little mustard seed of faith. This little bitty, by the way, I only got one subscriber and I'm the only subscriber. So watch, I want you guys to see the miracle. God is going to take my one subscriber, which is me. I haven't even went public with it yet, and watch what he do. He's gonna take one and turn it into 250 or whatever. I think it's 220 million souls. Let me say that again. He's going to take this one seed, this one mustard seed of faith right now that I'm operating in. Faith Fox is small. Nobody knows about it yet. It's not popular. It's not on the big platform yet, but it's only one subscriber, and I'm that one subscriber. And God is going to turn that one subscriber into 220 million souls of subscribers. I'm just saying. I'm telling you. I know God will say, he said, I would take a little thing and make it mighty and make it much. And I believe God for that. Anyway, I just want to give that testimony real quick. You guys are going to be seeing my character, Faith Fox, on the screen right now. You'll be right now. I'm behind it. I'm behind this puppet right here. I'm behind him. But anyway, I want to read about this. This is in John 21, and this is the Jesus and the miraculous catch of fish. I'm just going to try to read some of it here and just kind of elaborate on it, which I kind of did already, but I want to kind of just see what it says here. It said, afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. And it happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, also known as Didymus, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two other disciples were together. I'm going out to fish, Simon Peter told them, and they said, we'll go with you. So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Remember, without Jesus, you can catch nothing. And you're not going to catch nothing. You're toiling, working in vain, catching nothing. I believe in catching it, So let's go ahead and watch what Jesus did. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, friends, haven't you any fish? He asked them, did y'all catch any fish? They said, no, they answered. He said, throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some. When they did, they were unable to haul in the net because of the large number of fish. This is what I'm talking about. And after that, Jesus went on and said, follow me and he'll make his disciples fishers of men. But what I want to elaborate on is the fact that without Jesus showing up, they wouldn't have caught no fish. And they needed to follow his divine instructions. See, even in this deal right now, Netflix is not coming after Christian content creators, okay? Because the enemy is in there. But because I'm doing this podcast and I'm speaking it by faith, this Faith Fox on Netflix, and by me saying it like that, I'm going to get a deal. Just because God is with me, he is helping me catch them because they're the fish, and I'm finna get a boatload of it. I'm just saying, this is how I am, and I'm just believing God. I'm just believing God for a miracle to happen. I need a miracle. This never been done before. This is the first time that a podcast of this style, this format. The Lord been dealing with me today about composition. He's composing this. It's the way he's orchestrating this deal, and I'm just blown away off of it. Let me see where I'm at. I'm at 12:45 as far as on my time, so I got like maybe a couple of more minutes left, 3 more minutes left. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about. This is what God is doing. He's causing me to call those things into existence to show you the power of faith. That we can use our faith. Ain't that amazing? We can use our faith as a superpower to get those things that are impossible to come to pass in our life. And not only that, immediately, quick, fast. Because the devil, he'll try to slow stuff up. He'll put up blockages, he'll put up delays, he'll put up all kind of just anything in the way, because he don't want to see his people. He don't want to see us, God's people, flourish. Especially when you finna influence 220 million people. 220 million souls are going to be won to Jesus Christ because of this platform. He said, well, Tim, how you going to be able to win over 220 million people? Because Jesus going to help me do it. Peter and the disciples went out there, by themselves. They had Jesus. Remember, Jesus the one that caused them to have the boatload of fish. So much to where the net didn't even break, but it was hard for them to gather it all in. Those are souls. He said, I will make you follow me. I will make you fishers of men. So that's how we going to win over 220 million souls. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning into another podcast. Again, this is the Faith Fox on Netflix podcast that's going to be official. I will be back on the next podcast to give my testimony, a faith-testimony with the contract, showing you guys that God did it once again. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys for following, subscribe to this channel. And I love you. Until the next time, let's believe God together. God bless.